This game, he was a 3 seed, he won game number 1. Cieszynski won game number 2, evening it back up, and we'll see if Kastel, a Northeastern native, can actually win this game and move on to the quarterfinals. Or excuse me, move on to the semifinals.
Turn 1, Stromkirk Noble. We see Chad removes that right away on his second turn and follows up with an Arbor Elf.
It's a really, really good second turn from Kastel. Take care of that problematic creature. Get some more mana acceleration out there. He can play a spell on turn 3, maybe a Huntmaster of the Fells, maybe an Olivia Voldaren. Here's a Rakdos Cackler and a Stromkirk Noble. So good follow-up for Cieszynski as well.
Absolutely. One of the things that if you were watching the deck tech with Patrick Sullivan yesterday, he talked about how you wanted a lot of 1-drops. There are a fair number of 1-drops in this deck, but only 8 as opposed to, I believe, the 12 that Patrick Sullivan suggested.
Yeah, Patrick had 12 in his deck. He had Stromkirk Noble, he had Rakdos Cackling, he had Foundry Street Denizen in his red deck. Kastel, prepared for 1-drops, quite obviously has a Ratchet Bomb, but what you see among his lands is he does not have a red source of mana, so no Bonfires, no Olivias, and no Huntmaster of the Fells just yet, as Cieszynski draws a Mutavault for the turn.
One of the interesting questions with that Ratchet Bomb is that there is, in his side of the board, a 1-drop. That is his Arbor Elf. We saw that this Ratchet Bomb in various different parts of this weekend has blown up a lot of different things, but blowing up the 1-drops means he's going to lose his Arbor Elf. Does that mean he's going to chump block with it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Does he want to save some damage with that Arbor Elf because he knows it's going to die to Ratchet Bomb anyway? That's a really good question. Arbor Elf, a card that we have not seen a lot of in Jund over the past couple of months. We saw it at Pro Tour Montreal featuring Gate Crash from Owen Turtenwald when he did make his Pro Tour top 8. Reed Duke's innovation to Jund there, one of the many he's had, as we're going to see Cieszynski cast an Ash Zealot and get into the red zone. But Arbor Elf not looking particularly good right now, and you see Kastel is actually just going to take the damage.
One of the things he's hoping for that 5-drop, maybe a Thrag Tusk. He can always blow up the Ratchet Bomb a little bit later. So, for example, block the Ash Zealot next turn if he doesn't cast something with the Arbor Elf, and then blow up the Whirl so that he takes no damage on that turn. That's one possibility.
Kastel draws his card for the turn. You did mention the ability for him to play a Thrag Tusk this following turn here, if he does just have a land and a Thrag Tusk, and then he can use that Ratchet Bomb to blow things up. So yeah, I'm in favor of that, but he does not have a 4th land, so he just has to pass the turn back, and he has to be pretty afraid of using that Ratchet Bomb to blow up an Arbor Elf now.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not casting things now, it's not going to get any better for him. Mutavault joins the fray. Here they come. What kind of removal does Chad Kastel have in his hand? That would be helpful. We see the block the Ash Zealots.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't even feel like a Putrefier or Doomblade to me, Adrian. With the way that he's blocking right now, and it doesn't look like he's reaching for anything, this feels like he is in a very difficult situation. Arbor Elf going to get in front of the Ash Zealot. Looks like we're going to have a Ratchet Bomb activation. Going to blow up all the 1s. And he looks like he's going to take 2 from the Mutavault. So Kastel, it looks like he's in some serious trouble here.
I mean, if he can do some Tragic Slips, that would help a lot. But we'll see.
I mean, it would be a step in the right direction. Lucky for Kastel.
No.
Lucky for Kastel. As here's a red source off the top in Blood Crypt. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Down 2, up 2. -2 for the Blood Crypt, +2 for the Huntmaster. That was a really excellent draw for him in this situation.
Yeah, he couldn't put that card from the top of his deck into play fast enough. As Cieszynski does have a Searing Spear and a land in his hand, I want to see what he drew for the turn. One thing that Kastel has avoided so far is a card like Burning Earth. So he's doing okay on that front, but, you know, the Huntmaster becoming into play is huge for him, but it's not a card that's going to win him the game just yet.
Yeah, I mean, there was no better land that he could draw than that Blood Crypt. I believe those are 2 woodland cemeteries, so as a result, if that had been, let's say, a Dragon Skull summon, he wouldn't have been able to cast that.
Correct.
I suppose a Rootbound Crag would have been just fine.
Yep. So in comes the Ash Zealot, in comes the Mutavault. Wolf Token going to get in front of the Mutavault, trade that there. Ash Zealot to get some points of damage across. Again, Cieszynski does have a Searing Spear here. Looks like he may just pass the turn, but no, he's going to go ahead and get that thing out of the way right now. So let's see what Kastel has to play on his turn. Big turn coming here for the Jund player.
A land and a Thrag Tusk would be, oh boy.
Oh boy.
-2 life,
Yep.
+5.
Yep.
Boom.
Kastel confidently passing the turn back now at 14. Well, somewhat confident as he runs his hands through his hair. Again, dodging Burning Earth. There's a land, and now Cieszynski has to pass the turn back. And if you're Chad Kastel, you are absolutely thrilled. Here's a Garrick Primal Hunter. So now the Planeswalker has shown up. Will he draw some cards, or will he just make a beast?
Looks like it's beast time. Now, if you had a chance to see Eric's sideboard, you would know that there are some Skullcracks and some Burning Earths, both of which are potentially possible. I'm not a huge fan of Skullcrack necessarily, but it would have been pretty awesome to have had 2 mana open and had a Skullcrack during either of those two, but specifically that Thragtusk turn.
You know, the thing that makes Eric's deck and mono red kind of difficult is right now for mono red, you can't be a very burn heavy version. You have to be a version that does play a lot of creatures to the board and attack that way. So as a result, you end up opening yourself up to mash removal spells like Supreme Verdict and Terminus, Bonfire of the Damned as well, but you also open yourself up to having the inability to actually get through creatures. It's so hard for them to be able to get through something that can make a steady flow of 3/3s. It's so incredibly difficult for them to get through Thragtusk the first half, let alone the second half. That's the problem for him. Kastel's sitting at 14, and Cieszynski, how are you going to get through what he's assembled here? It's incredibly hard for him to do.
Yeah, I mean, going to the air is one route. He only has 4 to the air cards. That's 4 Chandra's Phoenix.
Yeah. You see him reaching for some mana here. He's going to play a Skullcrack to be able to knock Garrick down to 1. Searing Spear is going to finish it off, but that's not the way that he wants to use his resources.
No, I mean, right now the damage is done by Chad Kastel. Look at that, 14 life, 2 huge creatures in play, and he's actually turning the tables and attacking now. When you're the red deck and your opponent starts attacking, you know things have gone wrong.
And Kastel is just going to pass the turn back. I don't know if that's a removal spell. You know, and he says, hold on just a moment, I might want to cast this. Okay, it's going to be an Overgrown Tomb he's going to put into play tap. So he does have plenty of lands, but Thragtusk does a nice job of holding down the fort. Now, it would be scary if a Mark of Mutiny or something did show up. Ashcell going to actually be the only thing that comes, which actually is going to do a nice job of blocking because they both have First Strike.
Yep, First Strike, an excellent weapon against Thragtusk. Thragtusk is awesome, but as a 5/3, well, let's say a Boros Reckoner, let's say that you've got 2 Ash Solids, like in this case, you have to hang back, just as Chad Kastel is doing. But can Eric actually start turning the tables and attacking back? He can't just sit here this whole time. All that's going to happen is a Bonfire of the Damned is going to come off the top. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, it's basically inevitable, right? That Bonfire of the Damned is going to come off the top here, sweep his board, and win the game for Kastel. For Cieszynski, the card that I think he needs to draw to get the party started here is Burning Earth. I think that one's going to put Kastel in a difficult situation. Following that up with maybe a Chandra's Phoenix, maybe running Chandra's Phoenixes to be able to actually allow him to steal this game. But the longer the game goes, the better things are for Chad Kastel. His cards are just more powerful than Cieszynski's. Looks like he's tapping some mana here for potentially a removal spell, maybe a Farseek.
Dreadbore.
It's going to be Abrupt Decay. And now he's going to turn both of his creatures sideways, so getting aggressive. I like what I see. You see Strongkirk Noble going to go underneath the bust there of Thragtusk. Cieszynski's going to take some damage. There's a tragic slip. So now, Burning Earth, no longer a good draw.
Clear board for Eric Cieszynski. Another land.
Kastel in the driver's seat here, going to draw his card, turn his creature sideways, put Cieszynski facing a lethal attack this turn. You see a shock is the draw. He's going to show him his hand. He's going to concede the game. So Chad Kastel is going to win this matchup over Eric Cieszynski 2-1. Jund defeating Mono Red just like we thought it might. So now Chad Kastel, the 3 seed, is going to move along to play the winner of Mario Diliberto and David Reed. We'll find out who wins that Junk Aristocrats versus Jund matchup.
That was pretty awesome.